Professional chef Darren Anderson always tells people he was born in the kitchen, quite literally. The 45-year-old was delivered by home birth at 295 West Las Flores Drive, where he lived with his mother until this week. On Thursday, he stepped over charred debris where his kitchen once stood in Altadena, a tight-knit neighborhood of northeastern Los Angeles. He was looking for his cast-iron pans in the hope they might have survived the blaze, one of several historic fires burning in the area that have killed at least 16 people and decimated multiple communities and left thousands homeless. Across the street, at number 296, his friend Rachel's house also sits in ashes. The house next door, 281, where he'd enjoyed family parties, is gone. About 3 blocks away, on Deverian Place, where his girlfriend lived, some neighbors tried to fend off the roaring flames that would consume their homes with garden hoses. Now they, too, are searching for treasured items in the rubble, after fire obliterated this entire community nestled in the shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains. It all started on Tuesday night. Darren surveying the damage with ash on his black shirt. The Santa Ana winds had been fierce much of the day. Darren was in his front yard just after 1800 hours local time trying to secure items from flying away. Across the street at 296 West Las Flores Drive, Rachel Gillespie was taking down Christmas decorations, concerned about her plastic icicles and patio furniture. They exchanged worried glances. "This doesn't look good, does it?" she remarked. Graphics showing Darren's destroyed home and a map. At the time, it was only wind that concerned them. They had no idea that one of the 2 worst wildfires in LA history had just ignited a few miles away, part of a days-long nightmare that at its peak would see 6 blazes simultaneously threatening America's second-largest city. The Eaton fire that tore through Altadena has now ravaged more than 14,000 acres, destroying thousands of homes and businesses and left 11 dead. By the weekend, Eaton remained only 15% contained. In West LA, the Palisades fire, which had started that morning, would go on to burn through more than 23,000 acres, reducing much of a vibrant community to ash and killing at least 5 people. Firefighters flee Ridgeline as Palisades fire reaches them. Darren's next-door neighbor at house 281, Dylan Akers, was at work at a donut stand in the Topanga Mall, about 40 miles away, as smoke started filling their neighborhood. The 20-year-old rushed back when he heard the news, only to find his corner of northwest Altadena pitch black and members of his family frantically evacuating their home. His uncle leapt over their white picket fence to save precious seconds as he stuffed items into the back of his car. For the next 2 hours, Dylan did the same, gathering food, medicine, clothes, and toiletries. In the rush, he mislaid his keys and lost 30 minutes searching in the smoky dark with torches until he found them blown against a fence. Graphics showing Dylan and a map. During the desperate search, he kept telling himself that local authorities would be able to handle the fire that was roaring down the mountain towards the home he shared with his mother, grandmother, aunt, and 2 younger cousins. Dylan had faced windstorms before and had seen smoke in the mountains, but this time felt different. This time the orange glow in the sky was directly overhead. "I was fully at a 10 on the scale of scared," he said. At 0:30 Wednesday, Dylan said that he and his mother were the last people to leave West Las Flores Drive. They may have been the last to get out alive. The following day, authorities would announce that the remains of a neighbor down the road had been discovered. A graphic of a map and a photo of the destroyed home of Rachel. Rachel and Darren had left the neighborhood about 2 hours before Dylan. Rachel was forced out by a friend who drove over to demand, "You've got to leave now." Rachel, with her wife, toddler, 5 cats, and 2 days of clothing, said goodbye to the home they had bought just 1 year earlier. Darren also grabbed what he could. A guitar he purchased when he was 14 with money he earned working as an extra in a karate film, and a painting of his family crossing Abbey Road in London, made to look like the cover of the iconic Beatles album. As those on Las Flores Drive evacuated, Darren's neighbors a few blocks away tried to fight the flames. BBC graphics showing Hippolito's destroyed home. At 417 Deverian Place, Hippolito Cisneros and his close friend and neighbor Larry Velasquez, who lived across the street at home number 416, grabbed garden hoses. The scene outside looked hellish. The garage of one home was in flames. A car in front of another, too. They stretched hoses out from multiple homes and doused the structures with water, including the house of Darren's girlfriend, Sachi. Hipólito Cisneros stands in front of the ashes of his home in Altadena, California. The water was just repelling off. It wasn't even penetrating or nothing, Hipólito said, referring to the bone-dry earth and brush around the homes. Over time, they made progress, hosing off embers and spot fires. Larry thought they might be winning. Then their hoses ran dry, all due to water pressure issues they'd later learn had hampered firefighting efforts across Los Angeles County amid intense demand. An explosion sounded nearby, another home bursting into flames. By 1 o'clock, both of their families were packing to leave. BBC graphics showing Larry's destroyed home. "We tried. We really tried," Hipólito said. By 2:30 Wednesday morning, police cars rolled down their street with a loudspeaker, telling everyone to leave immediately. As he turned the corner of his street, Larry watched in his truck's rearview mirror as his garage caught fire. Larry and Hipólito, pictured above, fought the fire for hours before they were forced to go. Much of the Los Angeles region is made up of neighborhoods and small communities just like Altadena. On any given morning, people would walk through the lines of homes to get a cup of coffee at the Little Red Hen coffee shop, stopping to catch up while leaving for work in the morning. Many have described decades of tight-knit community here, where they watched neighbors start families and the children who once played in the streets grow up. But driving through the area for the first time since his world was upended, Darren barely recognizes his neighborhood.